Hi there and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I am sharing with you 5 travel tips, tricks, hacks, whatever you want to call them, to help make your summer packing a little bit easier. Some of these you may have seen before, some of them are new. There is one packing tip that I'm going to share with you today that I have never seen anyone else do. I've seen a ton of packing videos and a lot of people swear by the rolling or the cube method, but I have a little bit different method that I'm going to share with you today that has been a total game changer for me. Tip number 1. I like to travel with just like travel size toiletries, we'll call them. And previously I had always put all of them into like Ziploc bags, and then I get to my destination and I have like, 50 Ziploc bags. But something that I found that has been a total game changer is to take the lid off of your toiletry and then any kind of a liquid, and then take a little tiny square of a saran wrap and tightly put it on there just like that, and then screw the lid back on, and this will not leak. I promise you. I've done it 100 times. I will throw it right into my suitcase like this. Oftentimes I just do this and then throw it into my makeup case or my train case or whatever it is that I'm using, and then when I get to my destination I will rip these off and I throw them away because they do get a little bit messy like on the inside, right? Because they'll like flip over. And so what I do, because I've done this and forgotten, is that however many of these little squares that I cut to put my liquids in, I will cut the same number of squares, I don't know if you can see that, and then bring these with me, and I'll just stick them like in the bottom of my toiletry case. And then when it comes time to pack to come home, I will just separate them. It is a little tricky to separate them, but I will just separate them and then use new ones for the trip home because I don't like to reuse them. But this is a total game changer. Tip number 2. This is all about jewelry organization. Now I use this little jewelry case for all of my jewelry when I travel. This is from Stella & Dot. This does have a space for your delicate jewels, but I feel like it's a little bit hard and they still get tangled. And so what I do is I take a straw and I loop my necklaces. I don't know if you can even see that. I loop my necklaces through the straw, and then they don't get tangled with anything else. I like the flexi straw because I can actually then bend it and I can fit it right into my jewelry case just like that. Tip number 3. This one seems like a no-brainer. It's so simple and easy, but not a lot of people do it. You put your socks inside your shoes. Now I am crazy about foot stank, so I actually wash my tennis shoes quite often and usually wash them before I go on a trip. Because I want them just to be nice and fresh and clean. So I just shove my socks in the shoes, and then I use these shoe bags. I just then will stick my shoes into these bags. They're machine washable and dryable, which is awesome because if they get dirty, it's not a big deal. And then just close them up, and then I'm able to stick this right into my luggage. Tip number 4. Okay, so this is the game changer of how I pack. I don't use cubes. I don't roll. I use the lay flat method. And basically all I'm doing is laying out my clothes flat as can be, to get them as paper thin as possible. This absolutely works. I can get about 14 to 16 outfits into a small carry-on bag using this method, and it's the only way I pack. The only downside I would say is that if I am doing this method when I'm using a checked bag, for most airlines the weight limit on a checked bag is 50 pounds. I can get so many clothes in there, I will absolutely go over that 50-pound weight limit. Okay, so the pack flat method is exactly that. You are laying clothes as flat as you possibly can. And of course every item fits a little bit differently, so you just have to play with it. But the goal is to get every item to lay in the suitcase as absolutely flat as possible. And this does take a little bit more work in packing, but if your goal is not to carry as many items, it's absolutely worth it. Tip number 5. It is summer and a lot of you will be packing hats to go on those vacations. I personally do not like to wear my hat on a plane. I find it very uncomfortable to sit in the seat with a hat, and usually it ends up on the floor or underneath my seat, and I've actually ruined a hat like that because it got smushed underneath the seat and got caught on something. And so I always like to pack my hats in a suitcase. Now, a lot of you will think like that takes up so much room, but the way I do it, it absolutely does not. Okay, so this is the easiest method I found to pack with a hat. This is a fairly large hat, and what I'll do is I will stick all of my underwear or bras, whatever, into the head of the hat. This helps it keep its shape, and then I will place it face down into the suitcase like that. So you'll want to make sure that if your hat has a pretty tall area for the head of it, that you put it low enough in the suitcase that it's not going to get smushed on top. And then what I'll do is I will roll the rest of my clothes so that they fit nicely around the hat. So those are my 5 tips, tricks, hacks, whatever you want to call them, to help pack your summer vacation a little bit easier. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. I would love for you to subscribe if you have not already. I post videos every Tuesday and Friday. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye!